I think this market's about to be a lot of fun. And so, uh, Adam, Jonathan, I'm going to let one of you guys play the music because, yeah, I got the link, but I haven't queued it up yet. So, you guys want to take over? Let's hit some jams. Let's get this started. I'm going to let one of you guys play the music because, yeah, I got the link, but I haven't queued it up yet.
In the early light, before the rooster crows, T-Buzz sits where the ticker flows. A coffee cup, a steady hand. He trades the market like a riverboat man. Oh, T-Buzz, he's trading his way through the peaks and the falls, come what may, with a gut full of grit and a heart that won't sway. T-Buzz, he did it his way. He watches the charts like the stars in the sky, looking for answers, a reason why. Some call it luck, some call it skill, but Tom just calls it paying the bills. Through the red and the green, he's danced with a line. Every loss and each win, a tale of his time. Oh, T-Buzz, he's trading his way through the peaks and the falls, come what may, with a gut full of grit and a heart that won't sway. T-Buzz, he did it his way. Not every day's a victory, not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold. With his eyes on the prize, his heart in the fray, T-Buzz stands tall at the end of the day. Not every day's a victory, not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold. With his eyes on the prize, his heart in the fray, T-Buzz stands tall at the end of the day. Not every day's a victory, not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold. With his eyes on the prize, his heart in the fray, T-Buzz stands tall at the end of the day. Not every day's a victory, not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold.
All right, guys, there's your music and good morning. It's great to see everybody here. Tom's going to be joining us in just a second. You can see his picture up there. We got an interesting market here. And Tom, I'm looking through things. I think it was a pretty big thing that we got back up to the 61 number. Really, market turned on a dime with the end of RB3 there. Are we still looking for that 6680 pivot?
Oh, absolutely. I gave that this morning in the 5 o'clock session that I do every morning in TNT. And I said that I'm going to use a 6680. In other words, I'm sort of got, you got to show me after what I've seen in this market turmoil. And so 6680 is it. And we'll make sure everybody's got their computers. We're in the same room, muted, because they were getting an echo. But anyway, there's risks involved in trading. You know about that. Past performance is not indicative of future results. This class has been real eye-opening for me because what I've been able to show people has really gone back. I wanted to put this up here The month high for the S&P is 68.12. The month open is 67.25, and the month low is 65.40. We're currently about 66.68, 66.70. What that tells me, the reason I put the futures up there, I don't need to look at stocks. I don't need to look at anything else but this one number, because as long as we're below 67.25, I've got caution on any stock, okay? And I say that because one of our primary fundamental rules is you got to be above the monthly open. And so until we get above the monthly open, then you got to be patient and wait if you're trying to get back on the bull and ride him. So it really limits what you can do, in my opinion. And the best way to be limited as far as the market goes for both small accounts and big accounts is to trade futures. And that's what I've been doing, trading a lot of futures. Silver last night went up to 52. And, you know, what I taught people in my futures, I've got a lot of love letters from that. The S&P sold off last night at 9 or 10 o'clock. And I've got a 3-step I teach people, and it went down this morning to 65.94. So things are what I would say very, very uncertain. And the progress is you got to be patient and wait and pick your opportunities. Anytime you go, just think about this. Oh, the other thing that's really, really a warning sign is the VIX futures, that slash VX. It went up 10% from yesterday, today, and that told you, hey, beware, buyer beware. And you look at some of these stocks, so you can't get caught up in the fact they're going up or going down, because right now, I think it's reference bar to reference bar, the way I'm looking at it. And that's the beautiful thing about the DTI approach. If you want to trade, you've got to learn how to do it maybe in a short-term fashion. You want to sort of circle the wagons with your portfolio and wait till this storm passes, because we're definitely in a storm, and you just got to know that. And that's why I just put this up there today to say, look, 67.25 here in October is a number we got to get above and stay above. Okay? I wanted to cover that. So how to approach the trade day after a substantial decline. Okay? Last night was a classic case of knowing too much too soon. Let me explain. I'm waiting. A classic case of knowing too much too soon?
This is basically like, in my opinion, you're free set.
I got thrown a curve, folks. It's very rare I get thrown a curve. That was not knowing too much. I knew it exactly. Change the slide to say last night I warned people we moved too fast too soon, hit our target at that time of night, look for a fall. That's what I said. Not knowing too much. This morning at TNT, I bought SQQQ, which is when's the last time I've done that? Bought SQQQ. Anybody remember the last time I posted buy SQQQ in TNT? It was there this morning, way before we went down to 65 or 66.94, 65.94. Sorry. Now, I want to tell you something I feel about the market. And I feel right now, if you want to trade options, and you want to trade stocks, you're better off mastering futures to do that. and it's proven in this class. I'm watching these people that are here face to face, and I came to conclusion years ago, we always started with futures first. And it's so much more valuable to know the futures market when it comes to the stock market. You don't get the track record we have without knowing the futures market. And that should tell you how I feel about it. And a lot of people try to avoid futures, but I follow the S&P. 75% of all stocks will follow the S&P. You look now and stocks are coming up because the S&P is coming up. If the S&P starts going down, you're going to see it. Now, my pivot number today was 6680, meaning it's not cheap to buy because it's down below these levels. And that pivot number was posted, and we haven't got above it with all the shake, rattle, and roll, okay? And I think it's important when you think about where we are. We're coming into Genesis, which is a key time of the day, and it's going to tell us a lot about the afternoon. Now, let's go live and look at the Seven Sisters. The first thing we're going to do is go to the E-mini and look at the daily. What does the daily tell you when you look at that? It sort of substantiates what I'm saying about the general market. Everybody see it right there in the middle of that dramatic day on Friday? Everybody give me a yes if you see that. I want everybody to see what it means to me. It means right now, don't be buying things because somebody said this is a buy or that is a buy. Right now, you got to be careful. Caution in the wind, especially with stocks and options, okay? And it's very, very unusual. We got very few options out there. And those that we have out there have a certain strategy tied to it. But right now, we've been very careful, okay? Now go to the 30-minute. And this is a very valuable instant. Okay, let's talk about it. Jonathan, go to 5 o'clock this morning when I woke up this morning. Can you circle the 5 o'clock this morning? Right there. That's when I bought the SQQQ. Pretty good timing, right? And then look over there at the low at 65.94. Everybody see that? That's the power of using reference bars, okay? Using reference bars. Now, you got RB3. That big bar right there is RB3. So if you're wondering why the market's trying to go higher, we're higher in RB3. And if you look there at the reference bar, higher at RB3, the midpoint's about 55. We go into the buy area. And right now, looking at 30-minute, it's trading higher, but it's going to run into a lot of resistance around 75 to 80 if you look over to the left of that chart. And that's one reason you got to be careful. Okay? Everybody see that? I want you to acknowledge that on that E-mini. Okay? Now let's go look at the NASDAQ, which is tied to the QQQ daily. Same picture, right? The NASDAQ's saying to you, hey, we got the NASDAQ and E-mini running together, and they're basically telling you the same story. Be careful. All right, go to the 30-minute NASDAQ. Again, a higher reference bar at RB3, but look what the NASDAQ's doing compared to the E-mini. Look over to the left. See that red bar over to the left that we fell out of the buy area with? Over to the right, that one. Everybody see that one? That's your resistance area. You might give them the numbers for the high and low of that bar for the NASDAQ. And that would tie into the QQQ. What is those numbers now repeated?
It's about 24,780.
24,780 and the low.
Excuse me, it's 24,800, excuse me.
Okay,
24,800.
24,800 is the high. What's the low?
24,650.
24,650. I would set alerts for those numbers. They'll probably tell you the next move out of here, off the NASDAQ. Now, let's just jump to the crude oil next. I'm gonna go to crude oil. Daily. What is crude oil telling you? Looking at the daily. Tell me what crude oil is telling you. I've been telling you crude oil's headed to 45. This might be the start of that because it's set up to do that. Everybody see that? Say yes if you see it going lower. All right, then let's go to the 30-minute on crude oil. Sort of sideways there today. I'd set an alert at that low down there. What's that low, Jonathan? I can't see it from here. 57 something?
68, 57, 68.
5768. Set that on your computer. 5768. All right, let's go to the two big boys. Gold. Daily. Gold is bullish. And we made highs last night of 41.90. I'd set an alert there. It's correcting. If you go to the 30-minute, you can see it. Well, it's corrected now. It's got higher at RB3. Needs to take out, what's that high over there, that green bar high, the first one, that one. Yeah, what's that high? 41.60. Yep, get higher than that, you're going to go up and test last night's high. All right, silver, the golden age of silver. I told you it was coming. Look at this. Oh, that's a beautiful chart, isn't it? Oh, David that was at the small class is just smiling. Look how high it got. It hit the target last night, and now it's correcting also. Go to, if you will, by the way, I think silver's going to $65 to $75 an ounce. Silver looks good. What does it have to get higher to go higher? What's that RB1 bar? Yeah, that one there. What's that one? Write that number down. 51.16. That's the next time you got to take off in silver. And finally, in the weekly newsletter, I pointed out that Treasury bonds were going to be a surprise. Look at it. There it is. It happened today. Bonds soared, went to 25, the highest they've been. And now on the 30-minute, bonds have corrected from that high, just like all markets, okay? It'll be very interesting if Genesis is bullish. I think bonds are a play if Genesis is bullish. But going through the seven sisters, all futures tell me all about the stock market I need to know. Any questions about what I covered? Okay. Let's go back to our slides. Okay. What do you need? What do you do when there's this much uncertainty in the markets? What's the answer there? I'll tell you my answer. Lower your trading size. Don't trade as heavy if you're going to trade at all. Be light on your feet because you're going to have rapid changes in trend. Hard to keep up with that trading options and stocks. Lower your trading size. What's the best way to trade a market in turmoil? Trade futures. No doubt about it. What if you don't know futures? Learn futures. What if you don't have any interest in futures? Understand futures. It's futures first. What's the best way to protect yourself during a market in turmoil? Same answer. You can go to cash. That's the safest way. You can hedge yourself. That's another thing you could do. A little bit more complicated to do that. When a market's in turmoil, until we get above 67.25, I consider the market in turmoil, or until we get to November 1st, which is the start of a new month. So that's the way you got to think right now in a market like this. How can you make money during a market in turmoil? Trade futures. Easy to get in, easy to get out. So if you think about it, small account, big account, no better time to learn futures in a market in turmoil. In fact, that's why I put so much emphasis on it Sunday night, last night when we had a meeting, and I'm going to put it on it tonight at 9 o'clock. So, trade futures. Keep it simple. Ask yourself where the market opened last night and where we're trading now. Today's open 66.91. Where's the E-mini right now? 66.64. That's bearish, folks, when it's below where we open for today. So what you want to capture is a reference bar headed down. You don't have it in RB3. The question I have, will we have it on Genesis? We'll find out. Let's talk Futures Plus. I want to do this one last time for you. My experience goes back a lot, and I think having my experience is unique after all these years. Having brought the DAX to the U.S., not a lot of people you hear talk futures could say that. I was part of the team that did it. And if you don't know what DAX is, it's the largest index in Europe, and I still use it to this day evaluating our news because guess what? They get the news early over there. This was a great thing to have at the forerunner to electronic trading. I learned my 24-hour market from this, the Globex terminal. I have Chuck Crow here. Chuck, why don't you pipe in and tell them your experience as a young kid learning or trading the Globex terminal? Very rare we get that opportunity. Why don't you do it?
Yeah, so guys, when you're looking at that overnight market, and it's gotten a little bit more sophisticated than it was back then, but back then there were only a certain number of traders who were trading it. So one of the great things I loved about it is we could tell who we were trading against. And I knew when I went against those particular people, yeah, let me rethink that. Let me think back on that. And that sort of knowing who you're trading with and against, and you get the Europeans coming in, and it really sort of refines what people are looking at in terms of numbers. Like you could just see the order flow coming in at certain numbers. Now, when you look at the overnight market today, it's a much bigger, broader market, although it's still small when compared to the daytime in terms of volume, in terms of how that order flow goes. And I think one of the biggest things is it tends to be a slower market. And I think really trading overnight, probably the best way to learn how to trade. It doesn't have that rambunctiousness that the US day market has. Probably, I think one of the best times to trade futures, if you know what you're doing, is RB3 and on through the Genesis bar and directly after that. But if you're trying to learn, that overnight market is a tremendous tool, a tremendous learning ground.
Chuck, you followed me for years and you saw what I'm teaching now. I taught it a long time ago, didn't it? To teach people introduction to futures, showing them how to trade at night when it's a lot slower to trade. And that's why I met last night with everybody at 9 o'clock, and I'm planning on doing it again tonight. This is rare, folks. I don't do this a lot, but I'm doing it right now because I got a bunch of new people and I want to get them up to speed as fast as possible on futures. Thank you, Chuck.
Well, and Tom, just one thing, if you'll remember, when we first started teaching like the small classes, we would meet Sunday night and talk about the markets and then head out for some Dreamland barbecue.
Absolutely. I remember. So the Future Plus education sessions that we have are really got very valuable. Meet every week on a Monday night at 7. All sessions are recorded. And now, until this market turmoil is over, I'm going to meet there at 9 o'clock to show you things I'm doing at night, like I showed people last night how a top looks at 9 o'clock at night. And they saw it. and valuable. Now, the regular price for this program is $1,749. We've got a lot of classes, a lot of library, but because of the market turmoil, and I told people last night, I'm going to pull this offer. I don't know if it's going to be the day I pull it or tomorrow, but I'm pulling it because I'm not going to do it for $1,249. But if you join me today and get in here with me, which is the right thing to do and learn this opportunity, you can do it right now at $1,249. I had a lot of people last night that had existing memberships that decided to extend their memberships because they know I'm not going to be at this price very long. So take advantage of this market turmoil, educate yourself, and use this time to really get a foundation on the market going forward, because you'll need it again in the future. And we're putting the time and effort in here, like I said, in the evening to cover these kind of things that you don't get to cover during the day. In fact, this class convinced me I was 100% correct, because one of the students said, I'm going to trade this futures to learn how to operate my platform, learn what buy orders are, stop orders are, how to plan my day, because that's the fastest way to get where I can trade stocks and options. A very intuitive thing for somebody to say. And I said, okay, that is smart. Let's be smart, folks. Join the program. Any questions? What markets trade overnight? All markets trade overnight, Marianne. Contrary to the popular belief, everything's trading around the globe. They all trade in Asia, they trade in Europe, they trade early morning US and late afternoon. Everything trades. Different brokers give you access.
So one of the wonderful things about futures and learning how to trade with futures, those equity futures markets, they're open all the time, right? So if you're trying to figure something that you can trade at any time of day, any time of night, any time of the week, the futures market's the best place to go.
Yeah, and what I've done, there's 4 opportunities each day to trade the micro E-mini. I said, okay, I will show you how to do it, how to have your risk controlled, how to have your rewards controlled at the different time frames. You can guess the time frames. One's at 9 o'clock at night. The other one is RB3, the 30 minutes that open in the morning. Then you got the Genesis time frame, and then of course you got RB4. Those are the time frames each day. We did some math last night talking about it. I said, okay, what if you were able to generate $100 per of those time frames using a little simple micro E-mini, and you parlayed it out, you had good accuracy, you're talking to about $300 a day. If you learn what we teach and you're able to apply it, that's $1,500 a week, $6,000 a month. But what if you did more than one contract as you got more skilled at it? Take it up to as long as you want, or as high as you want to take it, that you can bear, because there's no day trade restriction like on stocks, and there's only thing limiting is your ability to absorb each of these time frames. You can pick any of them or all of them and trade. I tend to trade all of them. Okay, that's just me. But I wanted to put this out there today. I don't think I'll put it out there again. That's what I'm thinking right now. So take it and get it. Let us know. Be there tonight at 9 o'clock. I'm going to sign off. Be careful, and let's see where this Genesis takes us. Education. My experience in futures goes back over 40 years. The reason I'm talking about futures, every one of you need to be with me in the futures and learn about it. I owned a brokerage firm. I've been a member of CME. I've taught futures for years. I think that I can teach you things you won't get out of the textbook from the School of Hard Knocks. I was part of the team that brought the DAX to America. The DAX is the German Dow, another way of saying that. It's up right now 0.29%, relatively not doing as well as the US market. Keep your eye on it. It will be the first thing that breaks. If we go higher, it will go higher. If it breaks lower, you know what time of night that happens? Take a guess what time of night that Dancing with the DAX becomes a reality. I'm gonna give it to you. 4:30, RB2 is when the DAX becomes a reality, 4:30. Think about that. Love that DAX. I was a key marketer for it when they brought it to America, CME, and helped introduce the DAX to the retail market in America. A great experience of my life, working with the Eurex Exchange, working with CME, working with all the exchanges out of Chicago. I got selected to do that, and I learned a lot about what I call dancing with the DAX. If you ever watched a Fed meeting, the DAX always moves first. I don't know if you knew that. There's an insight for you. Write it down. I was one of only 50 people outside of Chicago hand selected to have an electronic trading terminal called Globex. This allowed me to see the market way before everybody else did electronically. Learn the power of news, learning everything about it. This is something that gave me an edge, really brought me back from 1987, but it allowed me personally to learn this 24-hour market. I quit teaching futures about 5-7 years ago. I started back about 2 years ago by request, and I love it. I love teaching people what I know about this market called futures. I trade it personally. I didn't think I'd talk much about futures in the futures, but I do. I do it every day through the E-mini. 2 years ago, that changed. I put a course together at the request of students, and you need to learn. You gotta learn what I can teach you. If you don't do everything else, you get with me and learn about futures, and all of a sudden, your accuracy will go up, your risk will go down, and you will be able to grow your account because I will teach you what it takes around the clock to use futures. I rebuilt our whole futures education program. It now includes options on futures. I love options on futures. I started hosting weekly sessions for a small group of committed traders. We meet every Monday night at 7. We expand our education. I lay out what I would consider the hot market of the week and how to take it. All sessions are recorded. The top students of those classes swear how it's revolutionary. I have a guy, Dave was here talking about silver. Dave started futures training about 4 weeks ago, and it's amazing how all that other stuff out there gets pushed to the wayside. He just crank it. Likes that silver. In fact, learning futures has grown his account substantially. I taught him what he needed to know, and he's still learning. Bill said, known me for over 15 years, you want to learn, you ought to learn from me. This guy's been with me a long time. I talked to him prior to doing this presentation. One of our great students. He's the one that created over there in the right-hand corner what I call the DTI salute. We made money. If we're all together, we're all stand up and do that. It's pretty funny. He's the guy. Ron sent this love letter. Each day using my pivot number, and I saw people talking about it, keeps him safe whether the market's going up, down, or out. Knowing the pivot number, the place to buy or the place to sell, is so valuable to you. You don't have to listen to CNBC, you don't have to listen to anything. If you got that pivot number and know where the S&P is trading to it. I give it to you free every day. Take advantage of that. Tonight, we have a few. I've got something new I'm bringing to the table. I want you to listen. How many people would like me, Tom Busby, to show you how, with 3 simple steps, you can learn to trade what I call the Micro E-mini? How many people would like that, to educate yourself and lower your risk through 3 simple steps? You gotta know the time. I'm gonna teach you that. I'm gonna teach you, matter of fact, I'm gonna have my first class on that later on tonight at 9. I was thinking, let's make it simple. I'll show you what to look for. Well, folks, it's coming, and it's coming less than an hour from now. 3 steps, not the Texas 2-step, but the T-Buzz 3-step is going to show you how to take that in this particular market and grow your account. Now, you got to have a futures account. Now, here's a list of the classes we held so far. Look at all these classes we taught online. E-mini options, using options with futures, using gold options, education on how to sell puts and create income or calls on gold futures, using spreads with futures. By the way, did you know you can trade futures 25 times in a small account? You don't get a pattern day trade rule. Why is that? Because the farmers run futures. They're like Sounder bunch, the farmers, rather than those Wall Street guys. Crude oil, I told you it's going to 45. It's en route for going to 45. Make some money there. I'll show you the trade. I think it's the trade of the year. Bonds, they're going higher. I got a strategy there. It's 1% strategy. It seems to be working pretty good. Not too late. They're going a lot higher as we go through this interest rate cycle. About the tune of about 40%. Gold and silver together, working in together. E-mini and micro together. Telegram channel. We have a Telegram channel for this where we reach out to you throughout the week with key information. I used the Tasty Trade platform to teach it because it's so simple to use. The Tasty Trade bracket order is a very good way to go into any futures market and know how much you're going to lose, how much you're going to make. Pretty powerful stuff. MTI and roadmap, I'll show you how that plays into things. I call it futures first because it's so much more. Understanding futures is gateway to the rest of the stock market. In fact, the E-mini relates to the SPY. If you trade the SPY, you better learn the E-mini. Trade the QQQ, you better learn the NASDAQ. If you trade the Dow, you better learn the Dow future. If you trade crude oil, or if you trade USO, you better learn crude oil. If you trade silver, you better learn silver futures. If you trade bonds, you better learn TLT. This is how it works. They're correlated, and futures is always moving first before the stocks move. That's why I call it futures first. If the E-mini goes up, the SPY goes up. Go look at the SPY tonight. It's higher than where it was Friday afternoon because the E-mini's up. E-mini goes down, the SPY goes down. Simple concept, but it works. Futures Plus education class is ongoing. I'm continuing expanding our library every Monday night at 7 o'clock. We record it. So if you get the recording, you can do some good, can't you? The format for Futures Plus, we train on Monday night. And then at 9 o'clock that night, out of what I call the 7 sisters, I will highlight one of the futures market, and you go and you take the video, and this is how you trade it for the week. Pretty simple concept, but it works. I told you market turmoil. E-mini was down 3.5%. The VIX was up 25 just on Friday. Nobody knows what it's going to do tomorrow, but I can tell you this. In the short term, the reference bars and futures are a marriage made in heaven. The annual cost is $17.49 for my online version, but I wanted to do something special. I wanted to do something tonight, not only for the existing members, but for any new members. So take advantage of it. That's the annual cost, $17.49 online, worth every cent of it. Because of the market turmoil, and I want to teach what I'm doing, I'm going to have a lot of FaceTime with you this week. You can sign up if you're an existing member for another year, and new members can sign up at this heavily discounted price. But you got to act tonight. We start at 9 o'clock. You can join for $12.49 for a year. Notice I say it's a limited time offer. So if you're a current member, you want to add a year, do it tonight. I put this price because of this market turmoil, and I wanted to make sure that everybody that was out there could get in for a solid year with me to learn this stuff. That is a bargain. Yes, you can buy multiple years at this price tonight if you want to. Limited time offer. It includes 1 year of online trading, all the recordings, everything that's going to happen. It includes a bonus 5 master classes on Delta trading strategies. And this week only, you go to Telegram each night at 9 o'clock. Don't like scholarships, here it is. 9 o'clock for the Futures Edge for the next 24 hours. Goals included too. You got to buy this. You got to buy it. This is totally outside the goal. This is $12.49. Add to it if you want it. Any questions about it? Limited time offer. I've discounted it way down if people want to join. Now, if you're going to join, put your name and email in here where we make sure you get invited to that class tonight at 9 o'clock. Okay? If you're going to join, tell me you're going to join. If you know, all the existing members will get an email. This includes the existing members, but if you're there. All right, Roz, they'll get you in there. Good, good, good. Folks, take advantage of this. People in my futures know this is a bargain. Big bargain. 1 year. Never offered it this low, but I'm doing it tonight. We're going to take advantage of this market turmoil, right, David? I'll teach those 3 simple steps tonight. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take advantage of it. Neil said, this is a gift. I just joined for an extra year. Way to go, Neil. Smart. David just joined for another year. Wow. These are existing players saying this is too good to pass up. I got it. Join, 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 join. Any other questions? Everybody's going to know the T-Buzz 3-step at 9 o'clock. Don't worry, if you don't have a futures account, you'll have one in the next couple of days at Tasty Trade. You'll be able to take advantage of it this week. Simple, it's straight, it's easy to understand. Way to go. Good, way to go. Anybody got any other questions for me? Way to go, Miles. I mean, they know how good it is. This is unbelievable I did it. I just felt like market turmoil. You know, I went through the crash of 1987. This is where the value proposition, you know, the cream rises to the top on a week like this is going to be. We're going to take advantage of it. That's exactly what we're going to do. You've asked me that question 10 times. Did you join my futures? Well, join my futures. I know the exact number. Exact number. Too bad. You need about $2,000, okay? Less than 18. Roger Sessions, one of my futures, a doctor out of Texas, just said he can't wait to do the 3-step. You're gonna love what I've done. I've simplified the whole process to a time and what to look for. You like that, Roger? This is for people to put on in the evening and let it go. Absolutely. That number's less than 18, there, less than 18 is the number you're looking for. Don't trade this market without understanding futures. I don't care if you trade futures, but learn what futures are telling you and the message they're telling you, okay? That's what you got to do. You got to learn. Roger says, you better wake up to this opportunity. You never saw me offer it this cheap, did you? Yeah, James, we'll share the slides to you. We'll definitely do that. All right, so here's the plan. You'll get an email. No, I tell you what, go into the Futures First Telegram channel, okay? And we'll post the link for the Zoom in there to have the meeting at 9, okay? That'd be the easy way to do it. At 9 o'clock, we'll post it, and that way you can be in there. You got to go to the Telegram channel, Futures First. We'll let you in there, and then we'll go from there. All right, see you. I'm going to that room right now to make sure everything is good. That's the Telegram channel, Futures First. Folks, if you don't think I'm ready for this week, you don't know me. I've been working on this for 40-something years. Yeah, you can use that. That's no problem. Look, the only reason I recommend the Tasty Trade for people that's never traded futures, it's easy to understand. Lynette, did you talk to Roe like I told you? You got to take it upon yourself when I told you that. You got to follow through. Yeah, like Tony's going to sign up, but he won't stay in Schwab. I'm fine with that. That's no big deal. You got to be there. Lynette, he was traveling down here, okay? He was traveling down here. He'll get on it tonight. He'll get an email to you. How's that? Adam, make sure Roe gets that thing from Lynette. She asked on Friday afternoon. All right, if you're in my class tomorrow here in Ponte Vedra Beach, the Futures First, that's the best program you want to add to do better than any program I got. Learn this futures market. We'll get started at 8:30 tomorrow morning. 8:30 tomorrow morning. Adam said he wanted, can we replay this for everybody? And then I'll start at 9:30. You want to do it that way? Adam, do you want to do it that way? Replay it and then I'll start at 9:30. Yeah, Debbie, it's in its own Telegram channel called Futures First. I didn't get an answer from Adam. Did anybody? Start it in 10 minutes. Got it. We'll go in there. I'm waiting for an answer from Adam or somebody to let me know. Way to go, Oscar. Take another year. Good man. Is Adam still here? Did they just leave me hanging? Oh, you just got the invite? Okay. Got it. Behind the 8 ball. Okay. Jonathan, you saw Lynette needs to get an email response from you. Do me a favor. Ready to shut down this room or we're going to replay it? What we're going to do? You need an invite to the Futures Telegram channel, Carolyn. All right, folks, get signed up. I'll get started at 9 o'clock in there. First time you heard the session. Perfect. Way to go, Rob. Way to go. I'll see you on this week. Rob, I'll see Rob. All right, I'm about ready to go over into the new Zoom room for the training, the 3-step. Tony, get into the room. Make sure you just signed up. Get into the room. Jonathan, you helping Tony out? He just signed up. I want to make sure I don't start before everybody gets there. Perfect. Going pretty fast. That's good. Hector, go to the Futures First Telegram channel. It's posted in there. Go into the room, you'll see it in there. I just looked up there, they got it in there, okay? Got the link and everything. It's in the Futures First Education room, Hector. Roz, post your email in there, and Jonathan, check that out. Make sure she's got everything to get there. All right, folks. I'm going to take a 3-minute break, and I'll get started shortly after 9 in the new Zoom room for Futures First. Okay. I'm going to do this tomorrow night also. Okay.